What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing NBA news, basketball news in the realms of the NBA, so to speak, because this is an NBA player, but this is basketball Hall of Fame news, and that is Vince Carter, the one and only half man, half amazing, or Vinsanity, VC, Air Canada, whichever nickname you have for this guy, is finally being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Vince Carter did play 22 years after being drafted by wasn't drafted by the Toronto Raptors, actually drafted by the Golden State Warriors, but in a draft day trade with the Toronto Raptors, was ultimately sent to Toronto from Golden State after being drafted, which ultimately led to Rookie of the Year, 8-time All-Star, averaged almost close to 17 points per game throughout his career, almost 5 rebounds and 4 assists. We're talking about, just honestly, every time I think about Vince Carter, I think about Canada's basketball scene, and I think about he's one of the most polarizing figures basketball-wise, in my opinion. Yes, I know Steve Nash is from Canada, but I think when it comes to basketball, more kids would probably remember what Vince Carter was to Canada's basketball scene over a guy like Steve Nash, even though Steve Nash is a 2-time MVP. Vince Carter has some of the most incredible in-game dunks. I'm talking about anytime you think about Vince Carter and you think about one of, or if not one of the greatest dunkers, athletes to ever grace the basketball floor. You can go from his highlights in Toronto to his highlights in New Jersey to his highlights playing for Team USA. I mean, the guy just has jaw-dropping dunks, and we all remember, if you're too young, please go to YouTube. We all remember the year, the 2000 dunk contest up in Oakland where he put on an absolute show. Like I said, Vince Carter, you look at it over the course of his career, he did play for a number of teams. Started his career with Toronto, was a multi-time All-Star, and then he moved on to New Jersey. Also going to play for Orlando, moving on to Phoenix, then playing with Dallas for a few seasons, then moving on to Memphis, Sacramento, then finishing out his career at the age of 42 and 43 with the Atlanta Hawks. And also, one thing that I will say about Vince, as his career started to, get to the latter stages, the guy 3-point percentage started to elevate. And that's one thing that you could tell that he was working on as he came into his own later on in his career, because you seen him in the beginning of his career shoot 28%, then it was 40%, 40%, 34%, 38, 40%. His career high, I believe, is 42%, but for his career, he shot 37% from 3. And like I said, for a guy that ultimately was known as a dunker, that's really good. And you also look at, in scoring, what he was able to do. At his peak, I believe it was 27.6 points per game as a member of the Toronto Raptors. So again, multi-time All-Star. And the guy just was out there putting on a show every time he was able to, like I said, at the peak of his athletic ability. We got a lot of jaw-dropping athletic plays from Vince Carter, and by far, I was impressed. I'm definitely one that is happy to see him move on and enter the Basketball Hall of Fame. Of course, he did not win an NBA championship. You would like to see that, but every player in the NBA and that enters the NBA is not going to be privileged enough to win an NBA championship. That's one thing that, separates everybody from everybody else. That's the thing that, okay, this guy was, but make no mistake, Vince Carter well deserved NBA, you can actually say NBA basketball, or excuse me, basketball Hall of Famer, because remember, this isn't the NBA's Hall of Fame. This is actually the Basketball Hall of Fame. And we know Vince Carter was definitely a pivotal part of not only basketball, but, you know, the NBA's history. And honestly, I'll say this: you can't tell the story of basketball without mentioning Vince Carter. That's basically the way I'll say this. Like, I'll make that statement now. I don't think you could tell the story of basketball without mentioning Vince Carter, because the things he was doing at the, like I said, at the peak of his athletic ability was just insane. It was just insane to see him just do some of the things he was capable of doing night in and night out. It was definitely must see TV. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Basketball fans, Vince Carter fans, or if this is just your first time tuning into the channel, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can know anytime a video is being uploaded to the channel. It's Astronaut H. This is the What More Do You Want Network, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.